I'm going to talk about my job experience as a full stack web developer. I got my first job right out of college. I was just doing a 2 year program, um, but it took a while for me to find that job. I think maybe three. Well, it could almost, yeah, 3 months or something. But when I finally got it, I was really happy. Yeah, it was a position as a front end web developer. Um, and yeah, I went to Montreal, quit my other job, obviously, and it was working from home and so on. I've never had done that before, but I was so excited and scared at the same time, anxious, I guess, because I wanted to make a good impression. This was my first job, like in tech. I want to make my parents proud. It was like a really good paying job compared to I was working minimum wage before, so it was a significant increase um, to pay, and also like different benefits like sick days, paid sick days, vacation time, working from home, and other stuff. Anyways, I remember my first day at my job. I was at this desk. It was during the summer too, but I was at this desk and I remember it 9 to 5, and 4 day work week. That was an also really good benefit. But I remember staying at my desk for the entire day, 9 to 5, like not even maybe like going taking bathroom breaks, but other than that, nothing. And I didn't I was just so anxious and excited to like leave my desk. Like, what if I miss something? What if I get in trouble? Like, blah 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 blah. And I remember that day was the most exhausted I'd ever felt at a job ever. Just because, I didn't take breaks. Fast forward, a couple of weeks, I move to Montreal with my friend, and I'm working, and same anxiety takes place, but more of like trying to get my task done like during that day, but always I'd be setting these like impossible goals to reach, and I'd always like underachieve them, which would make me feel bad, which would affect me, because I because then I'd be like, oh my god, you're lazy, you're not a developer. There's a lot of imposter syndrome on top of that. But I didn't really understand at the time that was okay to fail, and eventually I did fail at a task. Like I said, like I'd get it done at this time, but I never. And I was so stressed to coming up to that. Like I was so stressed for such a during that job, but yeah, at the first month. Give me a sec. Okay. My dogs are going to bark. I don't give a fuck. Um, yeah, the first month, basically the cycle. Like eventually, I got in the cycle. I was drinking a lot of caffeine, like heavily, because I thought, oh, caffeine would help with me outputting more or like getting things done, um, which was not a good idea because I used caffeine as a crutch. I wasn't taking breaks at all, like literally, like no breaks at all. If anything, I would take my break at the end of the day, like just sign out, I wasn't taking smaller breaks in between that because, like, if you're in coding, imagine you're sitting down at a desk at a problem for the entire day, but you're not unable to you're just stuck in that problem. You need to be able to get out of it. And, okay, sorry about the pause there. I had to do something. But I think I was at like drinking too much caffeine, was stuck in problems for like well, not like entire days because I didn't. It's also on me. Like I didn't know how to really solve problems at the time. Um, in terms of like, like taking breaks when solving problems, or like trying to, you know, just small things like that, like taking breaks. Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think what else. I think honestly the main thing was taking breaks. I just did not understand the concept of like this freedom. Because the funny thing is, with remote work, it's at least for me in my personal experience, I never worked harder in my entire life when I was my supervisor myself. Just because there's so much freedom, but I wanted to make be a good like example, and like obviously wanted to keep the job too, but I was so, I don't know, like in my previous jobs I was always like really hard worker at my minimum wage jobs, um, and then just this feeling of always feeling inadequate. Like at my other jobs I'd feel like I'd be recognized for my hard work. It was also in person too, but like once I got to this coding job, I was recognized for my like work, although I feel like I put in way too much effort. And eventually I also got I started working during my weekends because I was so afraid to fail. Like there would be a task due on Monday, and like I would work during the weekends and on my days off, which sucked. And eventually I worked, moved with a family member in Montreal, just because person I was living with, their roommate was just gone for the summer, so I was just like in their stay. Um, but yeah, eventually I go to my other family members, and it's still like same thing. Like all these little factors, all these little things, um, would just get to me. And then on top of that, like once I was at my other family member, it's like for 2 months I think, or a month, I was like leading, um, like I had this huge task, or not this huge. I had a task, and I was unable to get it done, and I was stressing over it, like just stressing. Like I just wasn't able to solve it, get the task done. I I got too, I got so stressed, and then also I forgot to mention I started like um, dreading coming into work. Eventually, like on Sundays, it's all I could have thought about. Like oh my god, the next day's Sunday or Monday. Like oh, like I started dreading work, which I hate that feeling because it reminds me of high school. Exactly how I felt in high school, was dreading high school. God, my dogs. Just give me a sec. Okay. I'm gonna speed things up. Yeah, I was so stressed. I've never been stressed before in my life, like that much stress. I was so stressed. I was like in a focus, like at work, the day that the task was due. I was in meetings, but I was so focused on my task, like everything was blocked out. But I was still retaining it. It was such a weird thing. but like I could feel the like just stress. Eventually, like I was to my project manager, I was like, I can't do this, and I honestly, like, for some reason, I built up this scenario where it would have been really worse than it actually was. It was just like, oh, okay, like the project manager was like, okay, to this developer, can you try and do this? And we're like, yeah, and that was that. And then I get back to my home city after summer in September, October. I think September. See my friends. But then all these same thing, like all these fat problems with my work. I'm not blaming my work entirely. It was also mostly on me, on like how to manage my stress and problem solving stuff. But I also do, in part, blame some of my work. At least the like fully remote aspect I think had a huge thing to play into why I burnt out. On why I burnt out, just because I don't know. I wasn't told, like, it was just all up to me. Like, I literally didn't know how to proceed and how to manage my time and more effectively and other stuff. Another factor that led to burnout was also trying to learn other skills during the weekend, and God, bro, it is such a pain to like be learning like coding like as your full-time job, 9 to 5. But for me it was Monday to Thursday, which I'm grateful for. But like then having to, like, for me, because I'm ambitious and hardworking person, I think, or that's what, yeah, I think. Um, but that am is, and I wanted to like get higher paid, but just it was so exhausting, like trying to juggle all that, like coding on the weekends. Like I wasn't really living. I was going out, but it was just so much. Like I don't think it's like first thing for me. I think this. I was also part of the cult of productivity, which is also that. But it's also like I feel like in the tech field, even on LinkedIn too. Just like this culture of trying to be productive all the time and hearing these stories that like hard work pays off, blah 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 blah. It's all bullshit. And it fucking pisses me off that like coding, which like I don't know, it's not even, maybe not the culture, but at least what I was given, like not given, sorry, what I'd seen from my experience, like in terms of coding tutorials, like, oh, you gotta learn this new language now or you'll never get hired, or like how to get hired, and it's just pure bullshit, bro. Like I was fed a fake ass story, and whatever, and there's also this feeling of always like you're in competition with other, or like constantly you're under competition and you should always be improving and optimizing. That shit burns you out. But whatever. God, I was ranting. Yeah, and then eventually, like during my period in the other city, I think I said Montreal. I can't remember. Whatever, it was Montreal. I didn't break down. I wasn't in the right mind state. I originally was gonna go into another well, into another coding program, but like I was really stressed at the time. I was like, holy shit, is this what my life's gonna be for the rest of my life? Like stressed the fuck out, miserable, dreading work. And did I did a really not my bad, not stupid. I was just I was dealing with so much. I had no one else to talk to, but I made the decision myself to switch into a different field. So I chose graphic design, and yeah, like I was just so my perspective was skewed, if that makes sense. Like I was just so scared. Like this can't be my life. Like this can't be what I worked for. I gotta make a switch. Um, but eventually I dropped out of graphic design like first semester, which I'm fine about. It was like I met cool people, learned a lot about myself, um, and yeah, and then I went to my job, back to my job originally, and I wanted to try like okay, let's try and set up these boundaries. It didn't work out, really. I tried like I was taking like set up these boundaries. What I mean like not work during weekends, take breaks, and other stuff. And don't take like as many tasks as you need to, whatever. And also like fully take advantage of the ability to work from anywhere. So I traveled. Um, I did set up boundaries, but I set uh, like again that affected my work like to the point where I was not giving a fuck about sprints or when tasks were due, just because it was like okay, I'm gonna put myself like really like the first thing, which can't. It's literally a balance of stuff. Was what I learned so far. I only yeah, I don't have that much experience. I think I think about 8 months of the work, which seems like a lot. Maybe 8 months, maybe less. But yeah, eventually I got talked from my boss about like oh my productivity, which it's valid. I wasn't as productive as I was, but I set that bar really high before, and I think they were expecting that from me, or maybe I just honestly like or maybe I was really under, not as productive, or like just not a good employee, which is fine. Like at the end, like it's a business. Like if someone's underperforming, then it's either get better or get out. But yeah, I definitely once I got that talk, I was like, holy shit, like stressed. Like okay, I gotta like do stuff, and I did. But then the little things started to creep in from my like first time at my job. It was like okay, I'm working past work hours like 9 to 5 because I was stressed because we had this project coming up, and then I feel bad, and then yeah, eventually I mean I got laid off, but it was my boss had said it was due to shortage of work, and I was improving, but yeah, right now I'm unemployed. I took a couple of months. Oh, also, I was freelancing. I completely forgot that. I was freelancing during the second time I started working. So that really affected me because working 9 to 5 and then all my free time dedicated to this other project. I didn't realize how much time it takes to create an app. But yeah. So all those little factors led to my burnout. And also, I mean, maybe unemployment. I don't know. I think my boss was just being nice in terms of like, yo, what the, oh fuck. Sorry, my computer keyboard mat's disgusting. I'll have to clean it later. The amounts of coffee that I've spilt on this mat be unquantifiable. But yeah. But if I could tell myself these things, I don't know why I'm really recording. I just thought might as well. But things that I would tell myself if I started, like, if I could, it would be, if you were to freelance, take really small projects like WordPress sites. Um, do not work past work hours. But even saying that, it's you know what? No, just do it. Put yourself first, but don't don't be too self-centered. Because remember, you have a job at the end of the day. Um, take breaks, obviously. Um, I also say, like, in terms of the second job or second time I went to the job, don't rely on ChatGPT too much. It can make you into a worse developer. Trying to think of what else. Um, get a good ergonomic setup and take massages. I have a fucked up back because of how horrible my setup was. But yeah, I think that would be it. In terms of my plans right now, I've been trying to find a job. I've gone to interviews, haven't gone to follow-ups. I'm trying to aim for computer science because I still want to go to school. And I'm gonna try not freelance. I mean, I'm freelancing, and I'm also would like to create like other stuff for my not brand, but like I want to create plugins and WordPress themes and stuff like that. Like try to make my own business if I can, and even apps and other stuff. Like work for myself, basically. But yeah. Hopefully someone took something from this. From my rant. I hope it made sense. It doesn't matter, because in the end, this was for me. I hope whoever watches this has a great day. See you.